Hello and welcome everyone to our webinar. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all the participants all around the world. Thank you very much for joining. Today for this session, we're having about 250 registrations and we're grateful for every single one of you. Thank you very much in advance for spending time with us and for going with us on this webinar. This is our second product training this year, this time focusing on the ICO. We appreciate you taking your time and we hope you like it. Before we get started, let me quickly introduce myself to you. My name is Franzi. I have been with Memmert for 4.5 years now, and I work here as an area sales manager. I have the pleasure of guiding you through today's webinar. But this is not all about me, of course. Today I'm being supported by a team of 3 wonderful colleagues of mine, one of which is Annika from the marketing department, taking care of the software and the technology. Behind the camera is Dominic, who's going to be our cameraman for today and hopefully puts me in a good angle. And to my right-hand side is Moritz, who is taking care of the chat today. You might have already noticed there is a chat function on the right-hand side of your screen. This is a private chat, so nobody else is going to be able to see your post except for Moritz. Feel free to directly reach out to us in case there are any questions arising throughout the webinar, any issues on your end. Please feel free to let us know. Moritz is then going to try to get back to you as soon as possible. In case there should be unanswered questions which we could not answer by the end of this webinar, please be reassured that we are going to get back to you per email later on then. So no question is going to be left unanswered, and you know the drill, there are no stupid questions. All right, heading over to today's topic. What is it actually that we're going to discuss today? You guys already know, we're going to focus on the Memmert CO2 incubator line, the famous ICO models today. The reason is quite simple, as Memmert has been noticing an increasing and a high demand in these lines since cell growth under control conditions become more and more important nowadays. Nowadays, we're having lots and lots of industries and companies working in the future of humanity, new ways of reproduction, skin transplantation, and stem cell research, only to name a few of the ICO's possible applications. We have made incredible medical progress throughout the past decades, and Memmert has been with you on this journey for ages. So it comes, we have already been producing Memmert CO2 incubators since the 1940s already, which is over 80 years now and quite impressive, I believe. And of course, we will continue to support you on this mission. All right, our aim for today's webinar is to introduce you our ICO line to, basically give you a better understanding of the technology, of all its amazing features and functions, and to also provide handy and useful information about the possible application ranges and customer ranges. Before we start off with our presentation, we're gonna kick it off with a short little video. Enjoy. All right, what we've seen here are 2 example applications, 2 typical processes, how they're currently being run all over the world in Memmert ICOs. The first one was the time-lapse of the division of a human egg cell, a human ovum, and the second one was the growth of bacterial colonies in petri dishes. What these applications both have in common is that, first of all, they of course need safe equipment for an optimal breeding process and a reliable manufacturer to provide such. So, with this being said, heading over to our presentation, this is why you should trust the best, trust Memmert, and trust our ICO. In order to notice what our ICO makes it so special, we're going to have a look at the ideal breeding process first. This is what we need from a perfect CO2 incubator. So the first requirement we have is, of course, obviously, we need the perfect temperature distribution inside the chamber. The second one, of course, to prevent the cultures from drying out, is the ideal relative humidity inside. And the third requirement, what gives the incubator its name is, of course, the optimal carbon dioxide, the optimal CO2 concentration. If all of those three requirements are being fulfilled, we can speak of the ideal breeding process and hence of the ideal cell growth. All right, moving on to what actually characterizes the optimal CO2 incubator. Well, to pick up the first requirement, the temperature, we of course want a temperature consistency and a stability throughout the whole chamber. Memmert provides this with a direct heating system over 6 sides, the left, the right, front and back, and also ceiling and bottom, of course, with an isolating air jacket. To provide a heated front, we also have the inner glass door, which is heated, of course, and heated door ceilings to prevent uncontrolled and unwanted condensation. On the picture on the right-hand side, you can see our heating system, which obviously provides more heating power in the bottom than in the top, which is being done for a quite simple reason. Warm air only goes up. With that system, with that special and unique heating system, we can actually provide fast heating and short recovery times after having opened the door. For most of our customers, the ideal breeding temperature is a body temperature, which is 37 degrees Celsius, which our ICO has been perfected for. Moving on to the second requirement, the humidity. Of course, we want a fast achieving and assurance of the relative humidity inside, and we also want to prevent uncontrolled condensation, as I've said before. So this is important to prevent the cultures from drying out, and ideally, the relative humidity inside should be above 80%. For most of our customers, however, it should even be above 90%. So if it also needs to be investigated which influence sample-given infections have on the media inside, the relative humidity must also be controllable, but we're going to have a look at that later on in more detail again. On the pictures down below, you can see our water trays, the bare water tray, and one picture is inside of an ICO chamber. Focusing on the third requirement, the CO2 concentration. Of course, we want this continuous CO2 concentration and therefore, resulting from it, the maintenance of the optimal pH value. This is important for biochemical reactions in the cell. To the vast majority of nutrient media, there are buffer solutions being added, which usually take the pH value outside of your media. To keep this inside, you simultaneously gas it with CO2. Depending on the choice of which nutrient media you use, you need a different CO2 supply. So just to give you a quick example, the basic or required pH value for the growth of mammal cells is between 7.2 and 7.4. So on this graph on the right-hand side, we can see different buffer solutions, different turquoise lines, and our desired pH value, which is highlighted in orange. So depending on which buffer media we choose, on which turquoise line we choose, we need to have a different CO2 value. All right, moving on to our ICO line. We are very proud to offer our ICOs in 4 different sizes, starting with the smallest size, the ICO 50, going over the ICO 105, continuing with the ICO 150, and ending in the biggest size, our ICO 240. The model names are all associated with the interior volume, as seen down below. Our working temperature range starts at least 5% degrees Celsius above ambient and goes up to plus 50 degrees Celsius. Our setting humidity range with active humidity is between 40 to 97%, plus an additional humidity off feature. Our CO2 setting range is between 0 to 20%, and in case you also want to control O2, you have that option by adding option T6, and you will be provided with an O2 setting range of 1 to 20%. With our special Memmert heating system, we were able to perfect our temperature uniformity inside the chamber at a working temperature of 37 degrees, for example, to a temperature distribution of only 0.3 Kelvin, which is quite impressive, and our temperature variation in time is even more precise at only 0.1 Kelvin. All right, now that we've had an overview of our different ICO models, we're going to have a look at those beauties in more detail again. So if we look at these now, the first thing we notice, they're of course in the typical Memmert stainless steel optic. This is Yeah, a typical Memmert feature. This is how you can recognize a Memmert appliance from miles away. And we've been done this from the very start. Reason is quite simple. It is very robust, very resistant and durable. It is scratch resistant, corrosion resistant, also very eco-friendly as it can be recycled after use, and also provides best hygiene, both for the applicant and for the load inside, as it's easy to clean. So when opening up the doors, we can already see they both open up on different sides. Well, this is another one of Memmert's key features. We're very flexible, and yeah, we have the ability to really adjust to the customer's needs. So the door hinges, for example, might be a very underestimated feature, but they're often and frequently used, especially in small labs, where space oftentimes is a luxury and where we're running out of space quite quickly. So this is the Memmert standard configuration with the hinge on the right-hand side, opening up on the left-hand side. And this can either be conveniently ordered from site when placing your initial order with us, or it can be changed in retrospect by a technician during several minutes only. So the next thing we notice is our heated inner glass door. This one over here is a special one as it is partitioned. You have different sections to open up, so you're not going to have to open the complete glass door each time. This can be ordered as a special option again. The standard configuration would just be a plain glass door, which all of you are able to imagine, I believe. So having a look inside, we already see that we're missing over here the typical Memmert heating ribs. This has been done for a good reason, as it's very easy to clean to prevent the bacteria from settling down. All right. Moving on with our presentation. Now that we've had a look at the different Memmert ICO models, let's focus on what exactly is the difference between a Memmert ICO and a Memmert ICO Med. The abbreviation Med, MED, stands for medical device, and simply means that only the ICO Med has a certification to be used as a medical device. This is important to note as these are two different names, two different models, and also two different order numbers. So this must be clear at the time of ordering. Reason why we offer medical devices is quite simple, since all medical appliances are subject to a seamless and consistent quality assurance, both during the manufacturing time and during the operation time afterwards. All of our Memmert models are certified according to ISO 9101, which is the international quality certification and quite widely spread right now. But our medical devices are furthermore also certified according to the Medical Device Directive ISO 13485. There are going to be a few changes in the laws concerning medical devices in the EU, and Memmert has actually made the effort to also provide and distribute medical devices according to the transitional provision provided by the EU. So this is not anything you're going to have to worry about. The intended purpose of our ICO Med is basically the creation and maintenance of consistent environmental conditions for the applications in the field of in vitro fertilization, short IVF. This is quite interesting to note and not only available for our ICO Med, but we also provide intended purposes for our other medical appliances from our product range. So in case you want to have a deeper look at that again, please feel free to use the link in the presentation in order to get access to that. Okay, moving on to our standard configuration. What actually do I get when order an ICO? Well, you're going to be provided with stainless steel shelves. And I say shelves, not the usual Memmert grids. This is being done for a good reason, as it simply provides more resistance against vibration, since customers usually put Petri dishes on top of them. You can also be provided with a stainless steel water tray, of course, for humidification, and obviously with the CO2 connection set. But not only that, Memmert also provides a very handy, very convenient, and pre-installed sterilization program, which runs for 60 minutes at plus 180 degrees Celsius. Important to note here is that, first of all, it is a sterilization program, not a decontamination cycle or similar as other competitors might offer, but really hot air sterilization. And secondly, Memmert only uses such high quality products. You do not have to remove anything, any sensors or any internals before starting your sterilization. So everything can stay inside, making up for a very quick and easy sterilization cycle. You will also receive, of course, the heated inner glass door, which we had a look at. the twin display always, and our usual Memmert alarm system, consisting of a visible and an audible alarm in case of any errors, exceeding or undershooting any parameters, and our integral fault analysis system for self-diagnosis in case of an error. All right. Now that we know the standard configuration, let's discuss real quick what other options and accessories I can order on top. Well, first of all, to clarify, the difference between options and accessories is that options are usually mounted to the appliances. They're fixed and should be ordered when placing your initial order with us, as they can be retrofitted in retrospect, but it's also requiring a bit of an effort and a service technician. Accessories, on the other hand, can be replaced and added, according to whatever convenient to you. The first interesting option is our option C2 for a battery buffered control cockpit, providing continuous CO2 supply in case of a power failure, and also protocolization of all the parameters so that that information is not being lost even when the power is being cut off. Another interesting thing would be our option T1, providing a second additional gas connection and an automatic switch over in case the first gas bottle gets empty. So to allow for time in order to switch out the first gas bottle. Also interesting is our option T6. With that, you can control the O2 concentration inside the chamber by an N2 inlet. And you will be provided, as discussed before, with an O2 setting range of 1 to 20%. But Memmert can also provide a mobile alert with their option C3 or C4, which basically sends you a message either per SMS or per email in case of error with the appliance. If you're interested in a HEPA filter, you have the possibility of purchasing that. And since they need to be replaced after every sterilization program, we also offer these in an Advantage pack, actually, 3 pieces for a special price. All right. Moving on to the different humidity systems we have already talked about quite briefly before. So having a look at, first of all, the standard configuration, the passive humidity limitation. So the air inside the chamber is basically humidified by a water trap, a water tray, which you put inside. You fill it up with water, and due to the temperatures inside the chamber, the water evaporates and humidifies the interior. We are limiting this humidity to 93% by a humidity pulture trap, which is located inside the back and basically simulates a dew point by keeping the temperature slightly below. The condensated water will then flow back to the water tray through a silicone rubber lip, and the evaporation cycle starts again. So this is a continual and uninterrupted cycle. The optional humidity sensor is available from us in case you do not want to actively control the humidity inside, but you want to know which humidity value you actually have. So this can be ordered with our option K6 in case this is of interest. Comparing this then to our active humidity control, we notice that we have very, very shorter humidity rising times and also quicker recovery times after having opened the door. So you will be provided with a digital control, which can be directly set at the control cockpit. This is ordered with option K7. The permanent humidity control is measured by a capacitive humidity sensor inside the chamber, and gives that feedback to the control cockpit for easy viewing at first glance. The dehumidification, on the other hand, is achieved by a metered fresh air pump. And on the graph on the right-hand side, we are basically seeing the process of having opened a door with a black line. And the blue line resembles our passive humidity control. We see that the necessary and wanted percentage of 80% humidity is being achieved quite quickly, and the full recovery process takes a time of 38 minutes. Comparing this to our active humidity control, however, highlighted in orange, we can see that the complete recovery time with this option is at only 10 minutes, which is quite impressive. All right, in order to visualize this again real quick, we're having a look at the side cut of an ICO. So obviously it all starts with a water tank, which is filled with distilled water. The water is being pumped to a tube pump and into an aluminum pump where a PDC heating unit is heating up the water to over 120 degrees Celsius. First of all, to transfer it to steam, of course, and secondly, to also sterilize the water again. The then finished and prepared hot air steam is being released into the interior for humidification. The dehumidification, on the other hand, is being achieved by a metered fresh air pump, which is activated whenever dehumidification is needed. It basically sucks fresh air and releases it into the interior through a sterile filter, basically suppressing the moisturized air by adding dry air to it. All right, last but not least, let's talk about which applications are actually suitable for the ICO. A big market is carrying out bioassays, of course, so determining the concentration of a substance by watching its effect it has on living cells or tissue. Also, lots of customers would execute anaerobe breeding in our ICOs, and what most people might not know is the quality assurance of drinking water also represents a very frequent application of our ICOs. Of course, obviously, you can also carry out cell cultivation, for example, in stem cell research, also gene expression experiments, and obviously our in vitro fertilization, which we have talked about. All right, now we've learned quite a lot about our Memmert ICOs. Let's head over to our demo devices again to have a look at it in more detail again. So we can already see our twin displays, which are always integrated with an ICO. So we have a display both at the left-hand side and on the right-hand side. Our motto is basically very easy. Our operation is intuitive and quick to use. Our motto is touch, turn, and go. So if you want to change, for example, the temperature value, which we can see over here, you will just touch the desired parameter. You can see our actual temperature over here, very big, and the setting temperature highlighted in orange down below. You can just set that to any temperature you want, and you basically press the button and you go. So this is basically how our models are being operated. It's very easy, very simple. You have the O2 supply over here, the humidity control over there. You can set a timer to count down the process time. We also include a set point wait function, which means the timer will not start running until your desired set temperature has been reached. Having a look at the other hand, we can see our CO2 control over here. We're having different alarms over there. The alarm values can be set individually for every customer and for each parameter, depending on their preferences. We have a graph over there to conveniently show us the cycle of the model at first glance. And we can also, of course, set a process over there, a program. In case you want to choose a program, you're simply going to have to press the menu button. You can see our program section over there. If you touch it, you basically would see an overview of all the stored programs here. As your ICO is already being supplied with a pre-installed sterilization program, we can see the ICO stereo over there. We just go out of the menu again, click our protocol mode here, and we can see it is now selected on manual mode, represented by the hand, which means you can manually set each parameters according to your preferences. And we're just going to switch that up to the play button. We press it, and now it will basically execute the sterilization program. All right, not only that, is very convenient. Our ICOs are also equipped with a tool that is very handy and very convenient for easy service. So you basically do not have to mount off the cover for having easy service, but you can easily switch that out, providing easy access, especially if you have anything stocked on top of the appliance. You do not have to remove the upper appliance and mount off the ceiling in order to get access here, but you can easily slide that out. All right. Then having a look at the interior, sorry. We can see over here our water tray, which is included in the standard delivery scope in case your appliance is equipped with passive humidity. So we'll basically fill this up with water. It will be evaporated inside the interior, and the appliance has a magnet over here, so it provides easy access. You do not have to watch out for the perfect position. You would just put it inside, and it closes quite nicely with the silicone lip over there so that the evaporated water, the condensed water, can flow back into the water tray. In the back, you can see our humidity sensor, as well as our capacitive humidity sensor, as well as our CO2 sensor. Sorry. And when removing the shelf, we can also see the entry port over there, which is now being covered by a silicone stopper in beige. All right. Then, when turning the appliance back around, we can see the different connections over here. There are quite a lot, but no worries. They're all labeled. So we have over here our CO2 connection. We have an additional CO2 connection since it's equipped with the additional gas supply. We have an N2 connection for oxygen control. Over here, a different potential free contacts, which are also available as an option. This black box over here is our mobile alert function for providing an SMS or an email in case of error. Here is seen our power supply, and over there is our Ethernet connection. Our ICO, of course, is also equipped with a USB connection, which can be seen over here. All right, then. To sum it up, what we have learned, obviously, of course, the Memmert ICO is a wonderful product, but this for good reason. It is very reliable. It is high quality. It provides repeating accuracy, and especially over long-term applications, lots of safety so that your load is not going to waste. We provide the perfect distribution of temperature, of CO2, and of humidity. It is also available as a medical appliance, and it has an integrated and very comfortable pre-installed sterilization program. So hopefully this is what you can take with you from this webinar. A summary of everything we have discussed is now being provided by Annika in our flyer, and in more detailed version also seen in the white paper. Annika will upload this now so that you can download it together with our presentation we have just seen. And we invite you to browse through it, to also have a look at our website in case this is of interest. Feel free to share this documentation with any colleagues or clients of yours who might not have been able to attend right now. But no worries, this webinar has actually been recorded, so we will upload this on the login area of our website later on again. At this point, I want to stress our upcoming webinars. Tomorrow, we're having the same webinar in French language, and the day after tomorrow in Portuguese again, in case this is of interest to anybody. And I also want to promise that this was not the last product training for this year. We have lots and lots of more topics in store, so stay tuned for that. Then coming to an end, I would like to thank you all for joining, for taking your time. Thank you for asking questions. I see Moritz has been busy typing all the time. Thanks to my colleagues for your support. Then I'm saying goodbye in the name of the whole Memmert family. We hope you liked it. We hope to see you again soon, and have a good one.